Welcome. If you've ever wondered who you really are beneath all the roles you play, if you've ever felt like your reflection was shifting, flickering, almost as if there were other versions of you waiting just beyond the glass, then this story is for the part of you that is ready to remember and reimagine. So go ahead and subscribe now, because each story here is not just something you listen to, but something that listens back. And as you take a breath and let it out slowly, we'll begin. Her name was Lydia, and for most of her life, she believed she knew who she was. She had worn the mask required of her, the responsible daughter, the competent worker, the quiet friend, the woman who blended into her surroundings like a shadow. But sometimes, late at night, when silence draped itself over the room, she felt the mask slip. She would catch herself whispering words she didn't recognize, or moving her body in ways that felt strange, as though someone else had borrowed her skin. It unsettled her at first, but then a strange curiosity grew. One evening, Lydia stood before her mirror. The reflection seemed ordinary. Her familiar face, her familiar eyes, and yet, the longer she looked, the less certain she became. Because the reflection didn't just stare back, it seemed to wait. And then, something subtle shifted. The jawline softened. The eyes brightened. The expression in the glass carried a confidence she had never known. And Lydia realized she wasn't looking at who she was, but who she could become. A voice rose inside her, not loud, but in the private language of intuition. You have always been more than oneself. The question is, which one will you choose to live today? Her body shivered. The mirror seemed to ripple like water, and suddenly Lydia felt as though she was falling into herself. In her mind's eye, she saw a corridor, long, dimly lit. On either side, countless doors, each carved with a different symbol: a feather, a flame, a mask, a crown. She understood without being told. Behind every door was a version of her. Some were selves she had already lived. Others were selves she had only imagined. And some were so familiar, they frightened her. She reached for the first door. The handle was warm. When she opened it, she stepped into a memory. Herself at 17, standing in a schoolway hallway, nervous, desperate to be liked. But the girl in front of her wasn't fidgeting like she remembered. She was bold, confident. She met the eyes of others with ease. And Lydia realized this was her too. The version she could have been, if fear hadn't whispered so loudly back then. The door closed. She moved on. Another door opened. Inside stood an older Lydia, wrinkled, silver-haired, but radiant. A woman who had chosen authenticity over approval, freedom over fear. Her presence filled the room like sunlight. She spoke only one sentence before fading into mist. You don't have to wait to become me. Lydia trembled. For the first time, she felt the truth of it. Her identity wasn't fixed. It was fluid. Like light through a prism, she could tilt herself, bend herself, shine herself into any form she chose. When Lydia returned to her body, she stood before the mirror once more. But this time, she didn't see a stranger. She saw a possibility. Her reflection shifted again. A dozen Lydias flickered across the glass. The shy one, the wild one, the healer, the wanderer, the artist, the leader. She reached out, a trembling hand to the glass, and as her fingers touched the cool surface, her face merged into one, her own. Not fixed, not final, but alive, fluid, and infinite. And she whispered to herself, "I am not who I was yesterday. I am not yet who I will be tomorrow. I am the becoming." And in that whisper, something unshackled deep inside her. So perhaps you too, listener, can feel how identities shift like tides, how you are never trapped in one role, one mask, one version of yourself. You are the corridor of all the doors, and you are the reflection and the one gazing in. And each time you breathe, you are choosing who to be. So take a breath now. Notice the old versions of yourself softening, the future selves calling, the present self glowing in between. Because you, like Lydia, are not a fixed identity. You are the story unfolding. You are the mirror that changes. You are the becoming. And as you drift deeper into this knowing, remember to subscribe now, because each story here is another mirror, another door, another invitation to meet the many selves you carry. And now, as Lydia's story settles into you, take a breath in and let it out slowly. Notice how your body feels, how each inhale brings a subtle expansion, and each exhale softens something inside you. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to try, because the process is already happening. With every sound of my voice, with every word that drifts into you, a quiet, natural shift unfolds. That's right. Just notice the way your awareness can stretch and also narrow, like light passing through a lens. Begin by bringing your awareness to your toes, as if you can breathe all the way down into them. Feel them soften, as though they are letting go of the need to hold you. Now your ankles, your calves. Each breath moving upward, loosening, melting, unwinding. Your thighs, your hips, your abdomen rising and falling, so effortlessly. And with every release, it's as if another mask falls away, another role, another old name, another expectation slipping off your shoulders and onto the floor where you no longer have to carry it. Imagine now that you are standing once again in that corridor Lydia found. Long, quiet, lit by soft pulsing glow along the walls. And each step you take feels lighter, as if the air itself is carrying you. With each breath in, you prepare. With each breath out, you descend deeper, down, deeper still, into that rich space between who you have been and who you are becoming. Notice the doors, each one humming with possibility. Some are painted with memories you've lived. Some shiver with features you've yet to touch. And as you stand before them, your body feels weightless, like you could reach out and simply step into a version of yourself you choose. Feel that, not as a thought, but as a sensation. The shifting, the expanding, the becoming. Like trying on a new coat of energy, or slipping into a forgotten skin that has always been yours. And even now, you may notice a subtle identity rising within you. A more confident self, a more creative self, a freer self, one who has always been waiting. Allow that presence to draw closer. Notice how it feels to merge, to welcome it into your breath, into your posture, into the rhythm of your heart. And as you linger here, you realize you don't have to force anything, because the shifting is natural. Identity is fluid, and every time you allow yourself to soften into possibility, a new part of you steps forward. So let it happen. With each exhale, let an old version dissolve. With each inhale, let the new one arrive. And in this corridor of selves, you are not lost. You are not broken. You are simply unfolding. And in a moment, I'll count from 1 up to 5, and with each number, you'll feel more awake, more refreshed, carrying with you the sensation of possibility, the knowing that you are becoming. 1, drawing your energy back into your body. 2, feeling your breath deepen steadily. 3, wiggling your fingers and toes gently 4. Returning to the room around you, clear, grounded, present. 5. Eyes open when you are ready, feeling renewed, awake, and expanded. And as you fully return, remember, each time you look into the mirror, each time you take a breath, you can choose again, because you are the corridor, the reflection, and the becoming. So here are the key meanings of the story. Number 1, identity is not fixed. The central thread is that identity is fluid rather than rigid. Who we are is not a single, permanent self, but a corridor of possibilities, roles, and potentialities. We are always in the act of becoming, and we have choice in which version of ourselves we step into. Number 2, masks and roles can be released. The mask Lydia once wore, responsible, quiet, unseen, are not her true self. These roles were necessary once, but they do not define her permanently. The story suggests that we can set down our own mask and expectations without fear. Number 3, possibility lives within us. Every door Lydia encounters in the corridor represents both past and future selves. The story shows that possibility is not something outside of us. It is already alive within us. Even the selves that didn't live are still accessible as qualities we can now choose. Number 4, the power of choice and intuition. Lydia realizes that she can choose which version of herself to embody. Identity shifting is not about forcing change, but listening inward and moving toward what feels authentic. Choice is gentle, intuitive, and rooted in awareness rather than external approval. Number 5, integration of many selves. In the mirror, Lydia sees all her possible selves flicker and then merge into one. This symbolizes integration. We are not fractured, but whole. Our becoming is not about rejecting who we were, but uniting all versions into a living, evolving self. And number 6, the invitation to the listener. The listener is guided to see themselves in Lydia's journey. The mirror becomes a metaphor. When we look into our own reflection, we are not seeing fixed truth, but possibility. The deeper meaning is empowerment. You are free to choose who you are again and again. So remember, identity isn't fixed. You are free to choose again and again who you are becoming. If this story spoke to you, go ahead and subscribe now so that every new story becomes another mirror, another door, another reminder of the infinite selves you hold within. And if you like a personalized stories created just for you, a story written in your language for your healing, your transformation, and your becoming, you can email me at rhondashypnoticstories@gmail.com, and that's a Rhonda without an H. So until next time, be well.